To make the open case studies more experiential, we have created interactive versions of the case studies. We have introduced interactive activities, including quiz questions and coding questions. Having these interactive elements can help engage students and give them the opportunity to test their understanding of the materials in real time. I will demonstrate what an interactive case study looks like using the Exploring CO2 Emissions Across Time case study. Let's say that I'm a student or an independent learner, and I'm going through this case study. I went through the first few sections from Multivision to data import, and now I'm at data wrangling. The first dataset that we will be working on would be the CO2 emissions dataset. In this case study, the setSeed function is introduced. So here it says, to continue to get the same random values, or for others to get the same values, we need to set a seed first. We can do this with the setSeed base function. And later, the seed of 123 is used, which gives us the output here. Moving forward, I see that there's a question opportunity. So with this interactive element, now I can try this out myself to see how setting a different seed would give me a different output. So to save time, I would just use the solution here. So I can click on solution and I can copy to clipboard, and I'll just paste this just to show you guys what the output is. So I can click on run code. And now I have my output. I can compare it with what the case study has, and I see that they're different. So now I have a better understanding of how this setSeed function does by implementing it myself. Say now I have gone through other subsections of data wrangling and I have reached the exercise subsection. So this is where I can test my knowledge of what I just learned. So this exercise subsection contains quiz questions like these, and also coding questions like these. So first, I will demonstrate how the quiz questions work. Suppose I'm working on this first question here. It says, which one of the following functions in the dplyr package allows us to see all of the variables or columns at once, where several values of those columns are shown on the right of the variable names? So I think the answer to this question should be slice sample. So I will select this answer and I submit my answer. And it tells me that my answer is actually incorrect. And it also gives me real-time feedback saying that this slice sample function allows us to see a selection of random rows of the data, which is not what the question describes. So now I realize that the correct answer should actually be something else. So I will click on try again. And I know that this should be glimpse. So I will select this answer and I submit my answer. And now I've got the correct answer. So moving on, I will demonstrate how the coding questions work. I will use this question as an example. So here, empty cars is a built-in R dataset as shown below. So use this dataset to complete the following exercise. So the first step that I am asked to do is to create a new dataset called new empty cars from empty cars, which is step 1 here. And the second step that I'm asked to do is to create a new column called car in new empty cars that uses the values from the row names of empty cars. So notice that this is actually a fill in the blank question, and we're asked to replace the underscores with your code with one character per underscore. So I noticed that there are 3 underscores, so there should be 3 characters for this question, but I'm actually not so sure what should be the answer here. So I can probably use the hints. So I click on hint, and it says the var argument is the name of the new column that will use the values from the row names. What is a column name? Oh, so being asked of this question, now I realize that in the question it says to create a new column called car. So now I will replace the underscores with car. So I will not go through all of the steps. Instead, I will go through the hints and like click next hint, next hint, next hint. The next one is that the next hint will show you the solution. So I will click on next hint again, and here is the solution. So we'll copy that and paste it. And suppose I actually made a mistake. So instead of 4, I put a 6 here. And I think this is my answer, and I will submit it. Oops. Looks like I have made a mistake as expected. So it says in this argument a 4 is expected, but I wrote a 6. So I realized that here is where the mistake is. So I will change this to 4 and I will resubmit my answer. And great. Now I got the correct answer. So another exercise that I want to show is one regarding plotting. So I will go to the data visualization section, more than one variable faceted plots. So in this case study, we want to introduce the difference between facet grade and facet rep. So like right here, this plot is plotted using the facet grade function. And after that, we give the students the opportunities to try to use the facet rep function to create a similar plot. So to demonstrate, I will copy this code and paste it here and change the facet grade to facet rep and click on run code and see what happens. Now we can visualize the difference in the outputs where these two functions are used. So by comparing them, I might get a better idea on how to answer the next question, where it asks why a certain function is preferred over the other in certain cases. So I think this is a rewarding process for the students or independent learners, as they can directly apply what they learned while staying in the context of the case study. So that concludes my introduction to the interactive case studies.